Yo, what's good? It's your boy Derek H, aka the Flourish God, representing the Fluke Podcast, and I'm without my partner tonight, Sneak Pre. He couldn't make it. I actually did this on the fly. We couldn't do a podcast last night as we planned, which really sucks, but went ahead and did one today. I figured, hey, why not? I have the equipment. Why not cover a couple topics and get something out to you guys? I was going to do it live, but it's Friday and didn't really know who would tune in. It's just me. So what I'm going to do tonight is just put something together, edit it, which is not what we typically do. We usually just shoot it straight live and put it on the YouTube channel. All right. So I'm going to make sure I put that link out there so you guys can check us out. Man, we got some past vids that are pretty good. So check them out. All right. So first topic. So as we all know by now, this is kind of old news. The guy that apparently locked himself in a room and shot a gun, which is kind of crazy, right? We got gun laws that are about to come out, and I believe Florida has already put something in motion to legalize teachers bringing firearms or having firearms. I don't know the extent of that bill, but they are making moves towards doing that. And then to have a teacher yesterday bring a gun in, obviously this was not a legal situation, right? He just decided to bring a gun in and locked himself in a room and, took a shot. I believe he shot outside. So we got to speak to both sides of the argument, or not so much speak to both sides, but just kind of put both sides out there. Once again, you got one side that is very pro-gun, that is saying that guns are not the issue. People are the issue, right? So there's really no need to change policy or implement new gun laws due to the fact that, it's not the gun's fault. People are making bad decisions. Then you have another side that's saying, no, we have too many guns. We have too many guns that we shouldn't have as civilians. People are really making a fuss about the assault rifles, in particular the AR-15. And then they're also saying that because we have too many guns and it's so easy to access these guns, we're having situations like you see right now. So this teacher who is not a student, he didn't go and mass shoot anyone, but he brought a firearm into the school and shot it, which is dangerous. So it's a really weird situation, right? I'm all for people having rights, and especially gun rights. I think that the forefathers of this country, when they put that into the amendments, they knew what they were doing. It was very fundamentally strong for the citizens of this country to be able to have guns, right? Or the right to protect themselves in the event of anything, right? But at the same time, I think we do have to be a little more flexible, right? It is not 18, 17, whatever it was when they implemented those amendments. It is a new day. We got a new landscape. There's way more people out here than there was back in the day in America. It is a lot different. And I think we have to really think about why we have so many guns and what is this infatuation with going into a school and bringing a gun. That's kind of crazy. So again, I'm not trying to take anyone's guns away. I do think we have an excess of firearms and it's really easy to get them. I think there should be, more than just having a driver's license or, whatever that process is to getting a gun. Obviously, I think there's some mental issues going on. Why this guy decided to bring a gun? He didn't shoot anyone, right? But he did shoot out the window, which is a little weird. So, yeah, I don't know about the gun thing. Like I said, I don't want to take guns away, but at the same time, I think they do need to make some changes. Maybe a more extensive background check, something to counteract what the hell is going on out here. I don't know, people just losing their noodle or what's going on, but we got a lot of issues and people getting shot up. Yeah. All right, next topic. Lil Uzi Vert is beefing with Rich the Kid, which is a weird beef, right? Because usually when you think about beefs, especially in hip hop, beefs back in the day used to be pretty intense, and they were with guys that were more vicious, if you will, right? 50 Cent and Ja Rule, Pac, Biggie, you know what I mean? Nas, Jay-Z. There was all types of beefs that have went on in hip hop, right? Hip hop is a very competitive sport. Of course, we never want to see a Biggie and a Pac situation ever again. But we have a new era, and there is new images in hip hop, new characters in hip hop. Lil Uzi Vert, Rich the Kid. Apparently, it's all started on Twitter, right? Rich the Kid, or I think Lil Uzi, someone may have referenced to Lil Uzi that he should sign with a smaller label. Rich the Kid has his own label, which is Rich Forever. And I'm not sure if it was referenced that Lil Uzi should sign to that. Apparently Uzi said, you know, something to the effect that he would never sign with a small label. I can't remember exactly how he worded it, but whatever he said, it offended Rich the Kid, and they have been going back and forth in little ways ever since then. As a matter of fact, Rich the Kid says that Lil Uzi is trying to be like him, had a baby, right? And what they call juxtaposed, put a computer-generated image of a baby head, or of Lil Uzi's head on the baby, to take a shot at him. And then obviously, if you guys seen the photo, Lil Uzi had a crab, and he had put in that photo that was Rich the Kid. Now, like I said, this is definitely a new era beef. These guys are going at it a little bit, and I think it's kind of strange because they're both kind of, I wouldn't say the more gangster type to use the term beef. Maybe this is just a dispute of some sort. But yeah, check that out, man, when you guys get a chance. I think that's a little weird, but it is what it is. Lil Uzi Vert beefing with Rich the Kid. Should players be paid in college, right? This is a really hot topic right now, and this is something that players have been discussing and complaining about for a long time. When I was in the 7th grade, I had actually wrote a paper on the NCAA paying players, and this was at a young age. I mean, I remember Duke had Jason Williams at the time, and they had won that championship that they won with Shane Battier, that whole crew, Mike Dunleavy. And they were complaining. They were saying basically, hey, man, my jerseys are at the store selling out, and you guys are making a tremendous amount of money off of these games. Yes, my tuition is paid, but with all the money that you're bringing in from tournaments, all the money that you're bringing in from merchandise, you have more than enough money to pay my tuition and also add, throw some money my way as well, right? These guys are, selling, thousands and thousands and thousands of jerseys and making millions and millions of dollars for the NCAA. And they're sitting in their dorm room eating top ramen. And that may be an issue, right? Some will argue, hey, you are a collegiate athlete. You should not be paid. You are an amateur. You're not a professional. A lot of you will not be professionals. I believe it's maybe 3 or 4% of NCAA athletes that play basketball, right, at a Division I level that actually make it to the NBA. So that is a pretty decent argument. I don't know if everyone should get paid the same thing. I think it should be tiers. I think it should be based on the school, right? What revenue the school is generating. Obviously, Kentucky basketball is going to generate a lot more revenue than, let's just say, University of Akron. No disrespect to Akron, but we're being realistic, right? So I think we have to tier it out. But I think they really need to make some changes, especially in lieu of all the coaches and players that are getting in trouble right now for accepting money, or coaches saying, hey, I'm going to give you and your family $100,000, make sure you sign with us, right? It's kind of a dirty game, and I don't want to call it dirty necessarily, but there are things going on behind the scenes. We've seen a numerous amount of athletes get in trouble for this. Terrell Pryor at Ohio State, I think, he was accepting money, and he was, riding around in a nice car and things of that nature. And, that was a lot of trouble behind that in terms of what Ohio State had to deal with. They had to forfeit a lot of games. They could not participate in any bowl games that year. They missed out on a lot of revenue. Tressel, one of my favorite coaches of all time, had to leave, which sucked. You know what I mean? So, the thing is, it's going on everywhere, right? So why is the NCAA not being more flexible? They know what's going on. It seems to be who gets caught, right? We know what's going on. We know he's doing it, and she's doing it, and he's accepting money, and he's doing this. But when they get caught, that's when they seem to kind of put the hammer down. I think we need to do a little better with that. I think you'd have a lot less quote unquote illegal activity if you came up with some type of pay system for the athletes that are bringing a tremendous amount of revenue to the schools. I don't think people realize how much money they're actually bringing in. Also with Sean Miller from Arizona, basketball coach, who recently got in trouble for apparently he was on a phone and it was wiretapped. And, you know, that phone conversation disclosed the fact that he was going to give $100,000 to a high-profile player that plays for Arizona, which it's still under investigation right now. So they wouldn't have to do things like that. They wouldn't have to leverage the money and play the game that they play on that level. I'm not saying that they're going to stop, right? But they wouldn't have to do it like that if you put some type of money system in. And that would help out a lot more. And I think it would keep people from trying to, you know, sneak it and do it behind their back. Think about prohibition, man. How much do you hear today about someone selling alcohol illegally? You don't really hear about it that much. I've never experienced it in my life. And I've been around numerous drug dealers, numerous illegal dealers of material. All my life, pretty much, and you've never heard that. Why? Because it's legal. No one's going to sell it. No one's going to do anything like that because it's legal and it's everywhere, right? So we got to do something with that college situation, in my opinion. And of course, we got Juelz Santana and Lil Wayne coming out with a potential CD. We all remember I Can't Feel My Face, which was a popular mixtape that came out, I believe, back in 2007. And that was just a great year, period, for hip hop. Great mixtape. People were going back and forth, who outdid who. Juelz was hot at this time. Lil Wayne, people were saying he was the best rapper in the game, and some were saying he was the greatest rapper ever, which offended me a lot, right? Because I'm a big Jay-Z fan. But at that time, he was making such fire music. It was making it really difficult to defend that argument, to say Jay-Z was better, how hot Lil Wayne was. So I guess these two now are coming out or thinking about coming out with a part two. They have been on Instagram and popular social media with pictures, right, of them two being together and, you know, kind of hinting at a possible collaboration. Not sure exactly what they're going to do yet. But I wonder how people are going to really look at that, right? Is anyone checking for Juelz Santana? Is anyone checking for Lil Wayne? Do people still want to hear this mixtape? As a hip-hop head and a hip-hop fan, I wouldn't mind hearing it. I will be honest, I'm not really going to check for it, but for some reason, I mean, you put two good MCs there, especially Lil Wayne, one of the all-time great MCs, in my opinion, with an awesome MC in Juelz. I think they're going to come up with something good, right? They're both hungry. They both still love the game. There's a tremendous amount of producers out there that can put together some hot tracks for them. So I am looking forward to it. I'm not going to go out of my way, right? If there are 4 other mixtapes that are super hot that are out at the time, I'm going to give them some play more, but I will get to the Juelz Santana, Lil Wayne collaboration because, again, you got 2 dope MCs and you probably can't go wrong with that. So according to DJ Jazzy Jeff, right, the popular DJ and known as Jazz in the Fresh Prince, apparently he made a statement saying that if anyone was going to play Will in a new Fresh Prince, right, it would have to be Chance the Rapper, which I found interesting, right? I don't know if you can duplicate Will Smith. It would be very difficult because you have to have someone that's very, very popular, very outgoing, very funny, witty, smart. You know, it's very difficult. Not saying that Chance the Rapper isn't any of those things, but Will was also a ladies' man. Not to be judging guys out here or anything like that, but I don't know if he could pull it off, man. But, you know, I'm not going to, you know, say that, you know, Jazzy Jeff is wrong, all right? That's Will's best friend, and he knows Will probably better than most, so I guess we'll have to see how that works out. Don't know how I feel about the Chance the Rapper playing the Fresh Prince, though, man. It's a tough pair of shoes to fill. I almost feel like they should leave it alone or just bring Will back in a different capacity, so that's my opinion on that. Talk a little basketball, the NBA MVP race, right? We got James Harden, we got LeBron James, a couple other folks in there, Giannis. listen, man, I'm going to go ahead and make this really short. Go ahead and give it to Harden. He's already got it. It's locked in. LeBron James is still the best player in the NBA, and that is without a shadow of a doubt. But this guy, Harden, is having an amazing and epic year, especially when he just made Wesley Johnson fall. That was absolutely vicious, and that was truly a broken ankle. Some people lose their footing, lose their balance, they slip. But you actually saw Wesley Johnson's ankle kind of turn a little bit. And then he kind of had to stare down, took his hand off the ball and splashed it. It was, give that boy the trophy. Now, the question is, since we're on the basketball subject, and if people, have an opinion, certainly feel free to comment, is are the Rockets good enough to beat Golden State? I think that's a huge question because the Rockets are super hot right now. I was not a big fan of this CP3 trade when it first happened. I actually argued with a couple folks that, it was a very overrated trade. I think they should have went and tried to get someone else or get CP3 and add someone to the equation, which they have done this year with Joe Johnson. I thought that was an excellent pickup. But I wasn't a fan of it at first, but the Rockets are looking absolutely hot. Can they beat the monster powerhouse that is Golden State? I don't know yet, man. Regular season I never go off the regular season. If you beat a team 3 times in a row, 4 times in a row, we've seen the Cleveland Cavaliers back in the day with young LeBron do that, and they get to the playoffs and not really make much noise. So I never go off the regular season, but I have to admit, man, Houston is looking scary right now. I'm not going to bet, right? I don't think I would put money on either team in that situation. I think that's going to go 7 games, and it's probably going to be the best playoff series of the entire playoffs outside of the finals, if that's an epic finals, right? And in the finale, China is not banning, they are suppressing hip-hop. Which I find really weird. They feel that hip-hop is moving too fast and a little too intense for their liking. They had 2 popular shows in China that were hip-hop based shows. And hip-hop is moving, man. People are dressing different. People are talking different. People are acting different. And China said, hey, I don't want this on my mainstream media. I don't want everyday people that watch popular programs to be exposed to these shows. They want to suppress hip hop, right? And I think that's a bad thing, right? For one, I'm a big fan and lover of hip hop, so I'm slightly offended that China is doing what they do. I certainly understand running a nation. That's what governments tend to do. It makes me think about America, even though they do it as well, right? They may not look like it, but they're definitely doing it right now as we speak. But it makes me appreciate living in America due to the fact that we have a lot of flexibility and a lot of freedoms that other people don't, right? Hip hop is everywhere. We don't have a commercial. We don't have anything without hip hop culture, right? So gotta give kudos to America on that one. But as far as China goes, I think it's really bad because hip hop is bigger than music. Obviously, it is a culture, it is a mindset, and hip hop is usually the unpolitically correct, the not straight version of what you think society should be, right? You have a book and it's telling you how you should be. Hip hop is never going to be in there because it's so raw and it's so unconventional and it's so real, right? It's not the fairy tale, once again, politically correct way that we are all being influenced and taught to be, which is why when you sprinkle a little hip hop in a place like China, in which they're doing graffiti, they're breakdancing. I mean, they're back in 1980, in terms of where they are in the state of hip hop. Hip hop is just now really getting to China, and they are embracing all the elements of hip hop, which I think is absolutely beautiful. But you can't keep hip hop down because once again, it speaks to the unconventional voice. It is the realness and the rawness that exists within every person, every nation, and you can't squelch it. So I think it's going to backfire on China. So I would definitely keep my eyes peeled. I did hear some Chinese trap music. I thought that was very interesting. So got to give a little kudos to hip hop, man, for being so freaking impactful and spreading everywhere. And I think that's dope because this is the flu, aka influenced by hip hop. Why not give kudos? Why not give props? Because I was influenced by hip hop, and China is obviously getting influenced by hip hop, and pretty soon the whole globe will be influenced by hip hop and hip hop culture. Anyways, I am Derek H, aka the Flourish God. I appreciate everyone that tuned in. We will be back next week with my guy Sneak Pre, and peace.